get like an hour of sleep.
Please look right for traffic when exiting.
Hey everyone, it is Wednesday, it is Friday, November 3rd. The time is 3:30 p.m. and the temperature right now is around 13 degrees Celsius. And that was the 511 Bathurst streetcar I was just on. And just up ahead here is the intersection of Queen and Bathurst. And it looks like there's a walk sign, so I'm just going to cross over to the south side of Queen here. And for this one, I'll be fulfilling a Patreon member's request. Viewer and Patreon supporter Mark D has requested a walk down Niagara Street. So I'll be walking west here through West Queen West on Queen Street West. And then when I get to Niagara Street, I'll be heading south. And I'll be then making my way east over to Mascot Brewery. And I'll be meeting a couple of old friends that I've known for quite a while. I'm supposed to be there at 4:15, given that it's 3:32. I should be making good time. Seems like a quiet afternoon so far, but it's definitely a bit nicer than it was yesterday. I've never seen that cafe before, or if I have, I never really noticed it. And the street coming up is Palmerston, and Niagara should be soon after that. So Niagara Street runs south and then it bends to the east and it finishes at Portland Street. And I think I might head over to Mercer Street where the Second City used to be. It's a rather small street, but I don't think I've walked along it since a lot of the construction on it has cleared up. This used to be a pool hall and bar called Rack on the second floor. It was a Nando's Chicken here on the first floor. There's kind of a second graffiti alley, so to speak, that runs just south of here, parallel to Queen. So this is West Queen West, which is just to the west of downtown. And Niagara Street is coming up in a block. That was the Silver Snail, a popular comic shop.
Pazar akşamı
I always like looking at Sanko. That artwork on the side of the building is so colorful. But here is the north end of Niagara Street. So thank you, Mark D, for your support and making this request. Although Niagara Street's only a little over a kilometer, that's why I'm incorporating a little more of the surrounding neighborhoods into this one. And there you can see this is the Art and Design District. There's an interesting mix of different kinds of buildings on Niagara Street. There's what I refer to as the second graffiti alley. I think I'll come back and do a graffiti alley walk and that laneway there in the near future. Maybe I'll do that one in HDR. I think that says only the lonely. And we can pick up the CN Tower off in the distance. So I did a search to see if there's any historically significant buildings on Niagara Street. And there is one, a former coffin factory. But that has since been converted into condos. I'll be walking by that one once Niagara Street bends fully to the left.
left side. Okay. And what do you want?
And no, I don't think my camera is blowing out the sky exposure. It just looks like it's all that kind of cloudy off-white color. I have a friend whose kid goes to this school. As the Niagara Junior Public School. And coming up is King Street West. And where I'm going is on King Street West.
Hey, I'm in, everybody. Where am I going?
There's still some nice fall colors to be seen. Although we're definitely transitioning into that period where the trees are mostly bare. There's a lot of condo townhomes in that complex. And here we are at King Street West. So Niagara has been mostly south, but now it's going to bend to the east once I get south of King. I don't know if the mic is doing this wind justice, but it is certainly fairly windy right now. That's a 504 King streetcar. Seems like a rather long light cycle. And that used to be a bar called the Foggy Dew, and now it is Hyde Social. And apparently, from what I've read, there's noise complaints, as it is very loud and it doesn't have adequate soundproofing, or at least it didn't while it was operating. But that's all hearsay. Feel free to update me down in the comments if you know about that a bit more. And I think this is a Buddhist temple coming up on the right. This is not something you see a whole lot of in the city. There's one on Bathurst Street. There's one in Chinatown as well. Ageless Restaurant. Michelin Guide Service Award 2022. And here's a mainstay of the area, the Old York Restaurant and Tavern, serving up $2 oysters and $10 Negroni. As I cross Wellington Street, with its new bi-directional protected bike lane. I can't tell what this looks like. It's a private residence. It also looks like it could be a cafe. It's really an interesting mix of different building types. These older homes right next to commercial structures. There's even some old industrial buildings. Appliance Squad, I wonder. That's a take on Geek Squad. There is the Essery Boutique Living, which is ironic because it used to be an affordable live-work studio for artists. And they were evicted a few years ago, I think in 2019, to make way for this condo conversion. Someone got their color scheme really right with that one. This is that old casket factory I talked about earlier. The National Casket Company factories. That building dates back, I believe, till 1887. Heritage Residences. It was one of the few affordable workspaces of its kind left. And in addition to coffins, I think piano parts were also made in this building. And it later became offices and live workspaces. And it's kind of exactly the type of building you'd expect to see as one of those artist live-work lofts. And when they were formally evicted, they got together and threw a mock funeral, which is quite appropriate. I don't know if they were offered new places to live at comparable rents, which is often what happens when people in buildings are evicted. I'm all for new housing, but replacing affordable housing with a similar amount of new expensive housing seems to be going in the wrong direction. And we are back to Bathurst Street almost. And just up ahead here, Niagara Street will end at Portland Street, and then I'll make a left. There's a Domino's. So where I started this walk was a few blocks north of here at Queen. Wander out onto the streetcar platform, which unfortunately is not a dedicated streetcar right away. It is good that they're able to have this boarding platform. It's better than having pedestrians make that death walk out of the streetcar. Kettleman's Bagel. There's one of those opening up at Yonge and Eglinton. The landscaping in front of this building is quite nice. And this on the left, I believe, is Victoria Square Park. I know Mark D requested Niagara Street, but I'm gonna skip the last half a block or so, and we'll cut through the park. There's a place called Hounds of York, a social club for dogs. That is in memory of the defenders of York, or the defense of York. Back in the early 1800s, they had to vigorously defend the city of Toronto, or York as it was then known, from American invaders. Surviving gravestones of the military burial ground just over there. So that is where Niagara Street comes to an end. And this here is Wellington Street. And I recently came by this way on an e-scooter video, checking out the new bike lanes. Also on a video where I walked through the well, that big new development just over there. So let's head north up to King, then I'll start making my way east. Come inside with a French onion, come warm up inside with a French onion soup. I was about to say, I have to bring my own soup. And later tonight, this area up ahead will be quite busy. This is King West, a popular night spot. Hot and fresh, 6 mini donuts. There's Ruby Soho on the left. And this is east on King Street West. There's porchetta, or porchetta. I'm having a misfire on how to pronounce that. They make some excellent pork sandwiches. I've never been to that Mexican restaurant. I have been to Belfast Love. I'd rather cross the street and deal with that scaffolding on the right. We'll get a better view of things. There is Chibo. They've got a location up at Yonge and Eglinton near where I live. Let's see if this condo really ends up looking just like that rendering there. Imagine what the condo fees are going to be to keep all that greenery looking like that on the outside of the building. You can go in there and buy a very expensive t-shirt at Patagonia. I went in there once, saw the prices and kind of said nope. And if you're into that sort of thing, I think that's one of the more ethical brands. And this is Spadina Avenue coming up. Looks like there's plans for a 23-story building going to that lot. Oops, sorry, I'm filming right now. Use the good old recording excuse. This is Spadina. To the north of here is Chinatown. The sign says sidewalk closed across here, or closed up ahead. I will follow those directions. Why not? I need to make a right. Coming up anyways.
1 million, 1 million pay. This is the one.
There's an excellent Thai restaurant just up there called Cowson Road. And this is a sign leading you into Bar Hop.
And then I was like, that's what it used to be back in the
And this is Peter Street on the left, Blue Jays Way on the right. There is the Bisha Hotel. Apparently that's a pretty happening night spot. Coming up is Mercer Street, which I wanted to check out earlier. Well, you might be mistaken to think that was Mercer Street. Up until a few years ago, there was a restaurant here called Wayne Gretzky's right on the corner. That was pretty iconic. It had a spinning hockey player on the rooftop. Is this okay to walk? All right, thank you. Just making sure we're not going through an active construction zone. And on the right here was the old Second City, and they moved into Mercer Street back in '97. They were previously in an old fire hall. And in the '70s, when Saturday Night Live became a thing, they featured some cast members from the Second City, who in turn later launched SCTV. And that is what brought the world Doug and Bob McKenzie. They were evicted a few years back and temporarily homeless. They did some shows, I think, at the Comedy Bar up on Danforth. Now the Second City has settled into their new home at 1 York, in a spot that was originally going to be a Target. Been trying to preserve the facade of the old building while sticking massive new condos on top. Condos that I think look hilariously bad when compared to the renders that were released. There's Metro Hall straight ahead. And we are at John Street. So it's back to King West. What time is it? 4:07. So I made good time. I'll have to catch the next light cycle though. Never been to this particular brew pub where I'm going. They've got two locations, one in Etobicoke, I think, just south of Kipling Station. It's the Princess of Wales Theatre, Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill, the musical.
Thank you. Excuse me.
Sorry. It's hard to really go anywhere in this city without someone trying to collect a donation from you. There is Roy Thompson Hall as I walk over Corey Hart's Canadian Walk of Fame star. It's an odd angle of the tower.
That's where the guy on the
All right, I'm gonna cross the street here. Mascot Brewery. We have beer as cold as your ex's heart. This one says education is important, but beer is importanter. Two sides that definitely ring true. Anywho, I'm gonna go in there and see if my friends are there. We're a little old school. We haven't texted each other all day. We just said we'd meet here at 4:15. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below on this one. Huge thanks to Mark D, Patreon supporter, for requesting Niagara Street and for her support. If you wish to support the channel, there's links to Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing below if you wish to say thanks that way. Anywho, I'm gonna have a little early pre-birthday drinking session and meal. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.